Listening to the Talkbox for some. You're listening to the Talkbox. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Good morning, you guys. Rise and shine. It's your girl, Sonia G, here on the Talkbox. So good morning. You know what we say? Every day above ground is a good day. We have another day, another opportunity to get some things right that we didn't have quite right on yesterday. And I want you guys to welcome a very special guest. He is a returning guest, and we just love him so here on the Talkbox. So, you guys, if you don't mind, welcome Demitri Carter. Woo!
Thank you.
Good morning, Demitri. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am blessed by the best. I cannot complain. God is just good. It's great to be above the dirt and the dirt not on me. So that is so great. Yeah. So
I just have to correct you. You are good. I might be good, but God is beyond amazing.
Yes, you right. Good morning, Karen. Good morning to you. Listen, I'm glad to have you back on today. And today we're gonna delve into I made it to make a difference. You know, I tell people all the time that you are blessed to be a blessing. He saved you to save others. So I just want, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about you, about your story, and where you are today.
Okay. Yes. Once again, thank you for allowing me to come on and be a guest once again. I truly appreciate it. And I am Demitri Carter, and my mission is to encourage the world through my experiences to help empower them to win at life while sharing the lessons that I've learned. I ultimately want to uplift, inspire, and empower people along life's journey so they can climb to their highest potential and increase their value to build a better them for their future. And this mission statement that I've generated basically comes as a result of some of the lessons that I've learned, not just from what took place last year on October the 10th of last year, when I was involved in a serious crash that nearly took my life and did take my leg, because as a result of the crash, I'm an amputee. But through the course of all that ended up transpiring and what has transpired, I realized something extremely powerful that many of us end up missing, and that is that there is growth through pain.
Yes.
And you have to be intentional when you want to grow through the course of that pain, because we can end up just simply laying down, giving in, giving up. And that's something that I just want to ultimately, like I said, encourage and empower people so that they can understand that they can continue to fight on. Last year, like I said, I was involved in a crash after I own a logistics business, and we have contracts delivering furniture from the warehouses directly to the customer. And last year, I ended up getting involved in a serious crash after we had loaded up the vehicle, loaded up the truck, and we were heading out, and we ended up running into the rear of an 18-wheeler.
Oh, wow.
And
let me stop you for a moment, Demitri. Let me ask you something. Where were you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually before the crash? Where were you?
Mentally, I think for all of the above, I took it for granted.
Okay.
I took for granted basically what it is that I had prior to. And that included my wife, my children, all of my friends, and their involvement, just simply being able to take them for granted, which I work to do better while still balancing making sure that I'm taking care of myself.
Right.
And it really did end up stinging when that pain and that growth ended up taking place, because I wasn't initially ready for it, but I had to reflect on what it was that had taken place and what I had gone through to realize the moments of growth. And it began once I ended up getting upgraded from the trauma unit, because I was on life support for several days. And I had heard a statistic. It said that 87% of people that end up getting on life support don't make it. So I'm proud to be a 13%er.
I know that's right.
I'm
I
proud
know
to be a
that's right.
13%er. And when I ended up getting upgraded the first time from the general trauma floor to my own room, I realized in that moment how weak I was. And I pride myself on being physically fit, taking care of myself, and making sure that I'm in decent shape. And I was basically on route and in decent shape, and had gotten in some of the best shape prior to, because I had lost 60 pounds prior to the crash. So physically I was improving, getting better. And then once the crash happened, I realized how weak I was, and God placed the right nurse in the right room at the right time to be able to help me to understand what it was that I had gone through and what I had experienced. Because after the crash, they had determined that I had bleeding on the brain. I had to have facial reconstructive surgery. I broke ribs on both sides. I had 2 spinal fractures. Ended up fracturing both of my legs, and I had to have a rod placed in my left leg. And the fracture in my right leg was so bad that they had to go ahead and just amputate.
You're
Right
amputated up to what? Up to your knee?
it just below my knee, basically in between my shin, right in the middle of my shin is where they had to go ahead and take it because the break was so bad. And they ended up, the nurse that day, he blessed me when he told me, he said, "Hey, just pick one of several of the injuries that you sustained, and it would have killed a normal man." And that's when I would say that my growth truly did begin, because in that moment, I understood, God, I won't be upset and I won't be frustrated by what it is that you've taken from me, but I'll be appreciative and have full gratitude for what it is that you've allowed me to maintain. And that's a sound mind,
Right.
and my family and my friends.
Well, it's like what you were just saying, though. So many times we take life for granted. We take our wives, our husbands, our friends, even our jobs. And sometimes, I know, I'm pretty sure that you hated to lose your leg to learn the lesson. But you got to live and to be taught the lesson. Other people didn't make it. And so sometimes when we're saying I made it so that I can make a difference, God is telling all of us that every day that we get up, we have an opportunity to do some things different. We have an opportunity to get some things right that we didn't have right yesterday, that we didn't have right last month, last year. And so it's bad when we have to go through some things in order for God to wake us up. But the blessing is when you do get it, when you do wake up, when you are like in the prodigal son, he said he came to himself. And sometimes we have to lose a lot of things and a lot of people for us to realize how blessed we truly are. And I like that you are so transparent about how you took your family and your wife for granted and this, that, and the other. Because here's the deal about that. You can't fix what you can't identify. And so what had to take place in you after the accident, you had to have a transformation. Because like you said, some people go through things and then they blame God for the mess that they got themselves into. Or just life will happen. And you could have stayed stuck. But I am so thankful and grateful that you realized that you made it so that you could make a difference. So,
And I'm still making it. Every single day. I have to make sure that I'm intentional about how it is that I grow and what it is that I fill my mind with and who it is that I surround myself with. Because if not, then I can easily fall back into taking those same things for granted.
Right.
So it's really making sure that there's a lifestyle change and a mindset shift when it comes to how it is that I go about daily things and daily activities.
Right, right. And I guess that's not just for you or for me, but that's for everybody. Everybody on the live. Sometimes you need to get so basic, like back to the basic, so simplistic. I think I was teaching the other day on keep it simple. Sometimes we need to just be elementary and get a pencil and paper and write down your blessings. I guarantee you, I don't care if you homeless on the street, you're still gonna have more blessings than cursings if you really look at it. But here on the talk box, you know what we say? Stop looking at the glass as being half empty and look at it as being half full. Again, you could be murmuring and complaining because now you ain't got but one leg. Lord, why you do me like this? Why you do me? Well, let me remind everybody of something. The Bible says that the wages of sin is death. So none of us is perfect. So really and truly, we supposed to be 6 feet under already. But because God have given us another opportunity to be in the land of the living, then we need to choose to do good. We need to choose to make a difference. It doesn't matter how far down the wrong road you went. It doesn't matter how you started. But what matters is you realize that, hey, I'm taking life for granted. I need to love on my wife. The Bible says that a man is to love his wife as Christ loved the church. So your accident gave you the ability to see the places that you was falling short in. And I think sometimes life is so overwhelming sometimes. That's why we need to keep it simple, because we'll miss the blessings that we have. We'll take the blessings for granted, and some blessings we'll walk away from when they really yours, because can't nobody take your blessings, but you can give them away by not taking care of it. So I'm telling you, it's such a great thing for you to understand and realize, because there's so many people that murmur and complain. Why I gotta have diabetes? Why I got high blood pressure? Why I don't have 2 legs? You know what I mean? But there's something that I say too, that there was a poem or something, and it says, I was messed up about my shoes until I saw somebody who didn't have any feet. And so sometimes we need to look at life like that and see and really understand and realize how blessed we truly are.
Yes, and with that, it helped me to understand this simple fact, that if we have just a glimpse of something to be grateful for, something to have a sense of gratitude for, then optimism is sustainable. So if you can concentrate and focus on what it is that you have as opposed to what it is that you lack, then you're going to be just fine. But you have to understand, let me concentrate on those things that I'm grateful for and remain optimistic as opposed to what it is that I'm lacking and what it is that I don't have, or what it is that I'm missing, or what I've missed. Because sometimes we may miss certain blessings that God has placed in front of us because we're not prepared to receive them. Right. So it's just being able to understand, let me focus in and keen in and have laser sharp vision on what it is that God has blessed me with. And from that, let me be a blessing.
Right. That's what we said at the beginning of the show. We're blessed to be a blessing. We're saved to save others. And if we get out of our own way, we'll start to realize and understand that we're good. Why? Because God is great. So we're good. Even when we're going through life situations and circumstances, it's not a failure is not an option. So, but what has been given to me, what God has given me, is the authority and permission to live an abundant life. I can live an abundant life if somebody leave me, if I go through a divorce, if I lose a job, if I lose a car, if I get thrown out. It doesn't matter, because I can still have abundant life, because that's what God said that I can have. So I'm saying, even in your case, Demitri, you'll still have abundant living even with just one leg. Why? Because abundant living is that joy that got restored in you because of the accident. Sometimes we got to go through the fire to get some things burnt off of us. Some ego burnt off. Some self-righteousness burnt off. Some lying spirits burnt off. Some laziness burnt off. Some murmuring and complaining burnt off. So that we are able to see that we are walking in abundance, and that is having the things and possessing stuff that money can't buy. That joy, that peace, that love, that understanding, that wisdom. You know, you can try to go buy a lot of things, but at the end of the day, those are just replicas. Those are how Satan sends in his counterfeits. And but I don't know about you, but I want the real deal.
I know that's right. I definitely do. And just like my shirt says, it says get up as quick as you can, because I understood with after I was sharing with my wife that on the very first day, and she didn't know for a while, but the very first day that I came home after I was discharged from my rehab facility, I fell. And I fell and I landed on my stump, and I hurt myself, and I stayed there on the floor for a little while, and I was kind of just assessing my injuries, and then I was able to get myself back up and get stable. Well, fast forward probably about 6 or 7 months, and I fell again. But I ended up realizing, hey, during the course of that time, I understood that there was going to be an opportunity or a chance that I may fall given my circumstances and my condition.
Right.
And as opposed to me staying into the floor and just laying there, I understood I need to get up as quick as I can.
Yes.
And that's what we have to do when we're going through whatever type of situations it is that we're facing, is be able to stand up, get up as quick as you can. But you have to be intentional. You have to be purposeful in what it is that you're doing, as opposed to just sitting simply there and wallowing in whatever it is that you've experienced or you're experiencing. But I encourage any and everybody, get up as quick as you can.
Get up as quick as you can. And you know why that's so important? It's important because we can regulate. I think sometimes we think that we're just stuck, but you can regulate how long your storm lasts, because it can be storming all around you. But if you got peace on the inside, then the storm don't last so long. Like we just said, the glass can be half empty or half full. It depends on how we choose to look at that situation. You could have sat there and said, well, dog, I tried to stand. Man, I lost my leg. Now I can't stand. And now I done failed. I might as well sit here. I don't want a prosthetic. I'm just going to lay in the bed. Somebody else going to have to take care of me. I'm not finna do anything else. Well, guess what? When we get that mindset, that's when we become stuck. And most of the time, that mindset comes because of fear. The false evidence appearing real. The enemy have punked you out and told you that you can't make it, or that you're less than, or that you never walk again, or now that you look crazy because you only have one leg. whatever. Somebody go through a divorce. Now they don't want to come outside because they're afraid that somebody gonna say something. Well, my thing is set that fear aside. Remember that God did not give you any fear. He gave you love, power, and a sound mind. And so we have to use our sound mind to get off of our do-nothings and get up as quick as you can. Get up as quick as you can out of that mess and madness. And what you do to get out as quick as you can, you intentional, like you said, but you choose. You choose. It may be a hard choice, but it's simple. Do it. I'm like the Nike commercial. Just do it.
Yes,
Just do it. I know you've been turned down. You've been looking for a job and you've been turned down 5 times. Well, go to the 6th one and let them turn you down. You've been married 3 or 4 times, but you're a wife. Be somewhere, be a good thing so that you can be found by him. And that's another thing too. A lot of times we're trying to skip steps in the process. So we're going to get up quick. We're not going to stay there. And we're going to decide intentionally to get up quick and to do something else. But how often do you see that we continue to do the same thing over and over and expect a different result? That says the dictionary says that is insanity. And so when we want something different, we got to do something different. You lost your leg, and then you had an inspiration that, hey, I was taking everything for granted. But then, see, the devil had to move to another area. Then let me try to embarrass him by him falling because he was on that one leg. Let me try to make him fearful to stand again. So we don't have to listen to that. We can just choose something different.
And it just reminds me, it says, I had the opportunity to speak to some high school students this past week, just kind of giving them some encouragement and uplift and just following my mission. And one of the signs that they had up, it said, effort will always be rewarded. Effort will always be rewarded. And sometimes, like you said, even though things may not be going the way that we want them, or we may experience no's, whether it be through a job or whatever the situation may be, but it reminds me of this, that no does not mean never.
That's right.
And a lot of times we'll get stuck on the no and believe that the never is our destiny, and that's what we're going to end up receiving and being stuck with, but that's not the case. And even with me falling, even with me having the circumstances that have taken place, and me still rebounding as a result of my amputation and all of the injuries that I've experienced, I understand now that this is my superpower.
Right.
My story is my superpower. What it is that I've experienced, what it is that I've gone through, what it is that God has allowed me to encounter and still overcome is my superpower. So let me go ahead and share my superpower with the world. Let me express to them that, hey, your efforts will be rewarded. And understanding also, just like I have not wanted to go to rehab, I haven't wanted to lift weights and do all of these things, but I didn't necessarily always want to do them when I was playing sports. But understanding that my efforts will always be rewarded. And sometimes, just like a muscle, if we go to the gym, you go to the gym and you work out and you're on a bench press and you're lifting that weight, ultimately, after you get finished lifting that weight, your muscles are broken down. Yeah. But they are broken down so that they can be built back up stronger. Yes. And it's the same thing when it comes to us with life, is being able to understand that sometimes we will be broken down by some of the circumstances and the situations that we face. But at the same time, we can and will be built back up if we understand and stand on top of what it is that we've experienced, as opposed to just letting it stand on top of us.
Right. And we go through life. I tell people it doesn't matter how safe, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost you are, life still happens. And we need to understand that when life happens, when you belong to Christ, let me put that statement in there. Everything is with purpose. God don't do anything without purpose. That's why I hang tight to Jeremiah 29 and 11. God has a plan for us, but he didn't say that plan was going to always be pleasurable. Sometimes we got to go through to get to. Sometimes we got to bump our heads a little bit so that we can get an understanding, so that we can build character, so that we can have integrity, so that we can form empathy for somebody else. Because like a lot of times people who's never been on drugs, they don't understand what a drug addict is going through. So they don't have empathy for that person. But then God will allow them to go through something similar or go through something. One of their family members will be on drugs. And then, it kind of hits home. Well, even when those things are hit, though, there's still some purpose in it. I teach all the time. There's treasure inside your tragedy. You just got to dig for it. People want their treasures handed to them. But if somebody just handed to you, it's not a treasure. You got to dig for treasure. You go on a treasure hunt. So some of us need to make and be intentional about looking for your treasure inside all of your issues, inside all of your tragedies, and start finding and going back to the basics, and not taking things for granted and just living the abundant life that God gave you permission and authority to live.
And I was just looking up, and it reminded me when you were just speaking, talking about the fruits of the Spirit.
Yes.
And we love to talk about love, joy, and peace, but right after that comes long suffering.
Oh yeah.
So being able to understand, hey, endure it as a good soldier, and be willing to, yes, have the love, have the joy and the peace, but being able to stand in there doing that long suffering when things may not be going as well as you planned or the way that you'd like them to. So being able to understand, hey, I'm going to have to be intentional, be purposeful, and do what I need to do during the course of things not going the way that I want them to.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you, it says joy and peace before long suffering. I'm going to tell you my analogy. Because see, again, God don't do anything without intent.
Mm-hmm.
If we master walking in love, walking in peace, and walking in joy, you're able to go through the long suffering with a smile. Right. But see, if we haven't mastered love, because he said when he was telling about love is patient, love is kind, love is, he said love never fails. And of the greatest of all those, love is the greatest. Mm-hmm. And it is because love can turn a whole situation around. You might can't stand me, but if I can walk in love, because I'm responsible for me.
Right.
And when we're thinking about it, when we learn how to walk in love, then everything else is a piece of cake. Everything else is a piece of cake. And I've been through a lot in my life. Even had some detrimental situations go on, but I've learned to tweak my love walk, regardless of what you're doing. And see what it say too. Love covers a multitude of sins.
Yes.
So if we get our love walk right, then some of the stuff that we still do, our secret sins that we had, that we still got going on, then those things can be covered. And so I am just so thankful that, baby, that we both, you and me, we made it to make a difference. And so I appreciate you making a difference on today, Demitri. I appreciate that you didn't let something that was amputated stop you from your abundant journey, because all of us lose something. We may not lose a limb, but in loss, there's a lesson.
Yes.
So I thank God for you coming on the show. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Just in the event that anyone is looking for any type of keynote speakers, I am doing speaking engagements, and I'm working to fill my calendar right now, covering topics of exemplifying perseverance, change management, and overcoming adversity.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so very much for that. I tell you what, I'm going to, I really appreciate you coming. Good morning to Anita, Patricia, Elizabeth, and Nay, and Tony. I really appreciate everybody coming on. I really appreciate you coming on, Demitri. You just don't know, you have a powerful story. And I tell everybody when I'm talking about you, you're one of my favorite guests. From the first time that you came and you were a guest, and you were so full of joy, and you came and you were a guest exactly 7 months from your accident. And I know that 7 means completion, and you were so full of joy. I was like, man, even though you had lost a leg, you know, some of us lose a job and go crazy. You know, some of us, they repossess your car. Now you don't want to go to church. You don't want to pray for nobody. You don't want to do nothing. But you had so much joy, and I sure do appreciate that. I want to remind everybody that I launched my Authentic Tax School this week. So what I want to do is I want to try to show you guys. I'll be trying to learn how to do this stuff. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you and show y'all the video, the little 30-second commercial. Hi, I'm Sonia G, the owner of Authentic Tax for over 15 years. Are you tired of working for others? Do you want to be your own boss? We can help you learn how to prepare your own taxes, or very much so, open
Not
up
able
your
to see it on the screen.
business and be your own boss. Go to aqbizsolutions.com and let us unleash the boss in you. You couldn't see it?
No, not until the end.
Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to play it again then. Hold on. I got to show y'all my little thing. Here it is. Hi, I'm Sonia G, the owner of Authentic Tax for over 15 years. Are you tired of working for others? Do you want to be your own boss? We can help you learn how to prepare your own taxes, or very much so, open up your own tax business and be your own boss. Go to aqbizsolutions.com and let us unleash the boss in you. All right. Y'all seen it.
All right. Congratulations.
So I'm very thankful for launching the school. And I just want to thank you once again for being such an awesome ambassador for Christ. And an awesome ambassador that is not afraid to tell your story. You guys, give Demitri a hand clap for coming on today. Woo!
Thank you.
I want to remind everybody that tomorrow, you guys, is thankful. No, what's today? Tuesday?
Wednesday.
Today, Wednesday. Look, I don't got it. Today is Wonderful Wednesday, you guys. So tomorrow is Thankful Thursday. So then all of you guys can be a guest. So if you'll go to the YouTube channel or either on Facebook and go ahead and play around with the link so that you're able to get on and you can be a guest on the Talkbox show. On Thankful Thursday, now we're opening up the mic and on the camera. We ask that you keep your testimonies down to 2 to 3 minutes. So give everybody else the opportunity. But God said in his word, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. So if God has done anything for you, then you need to come on the Talkbox tomorrow. You can do it by camera or just by audio. We'll be glad to have you. Just be mindful and respectful of others. So I do thank you once again, Demitri, and we're going to see you real soon on the Talkbox again. We love you here on the Talkbox. As you see, I put you in the intro.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I thank God for you, and I thank God for you guys watching. You guys have a great day.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, you're listening to the Talkbox inside. You're listening to the Talkbox. Let's talk about it. Talk about it.